Hi, my name is Steven and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about dealing with anxiety, how I cope with it. We all struggle with anxiety on a day-to-day basis, and I want to talk to you about how I go through this struggle. Because when things get overwhelming, I need a plan in place to help with my anxiety. I'll be sharing with you my journey and experience through the struggle of my anxiety, and more importantly, how I cope and manage it on a day-to-day basis. Anxiety can be overwhelming, but it's essential to realize that we're not in it alone. We all face this battle, and together we can support one another. So throughout this video, I'll be sharing the tips I use to help me support and manage my anxiety. And these strategies and tips have made a real difference in my life. From mindfulness to self-care practices, we'll explore what helped me and help you gain an understanding of how I'm able to cope with my anxiety. While my experiences and methods might resonate from you, I am not an experienced professional. So always seek professional help when you're trying to deal with your anxiety. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my background, how I cope with anxiety, and my general thoughts. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, hit that notification bell if you like this content. And here we go. In my life, I don't think there's ever been a time where I was truly free from anxiety. From grade school all the way to the present, there's always been some sort of low-level anxiety in my life. In terms of impact, it's as pervasive as it gets, and although I wish it didn't affect me, at best this is wishful thinking, and at worst it just hides the problem. Although I will say the type of anxiety I've experienced has changed over time. From the anxiety that stems from not knowing who I am to now having a lot of responsibilities on my shoulders. And just around the corner in my life is the anxiety of middle age. The methods that I use to cope with these anxieties have also changed over time. It's more sophisticated and tailored now that I know myself much better. That means I can generally calm myself before everything gets too overwhelming in my day-to-day life. Nowadays, even though I do have the tools in place to help with my anxiety, I still can get overwhelmed from time to time. Days where I need to find and recenter myself back to my calm state. Remember that coping with anxiety is a personal struggle. It's essential to find strategies and methods that work best for you. Combining multiple techniques and being patient with yourself is the best thing to help combat anxiety and can lead to significant improvements over time. So here's how I manage my anxiety. Number 1, reduce social media exposure. To effectively decrease your anxiety, try to reduce your social media usage. This can also pertain to watching less TV overall as well. Limiting time on social media and the news can help us protect our mental space. It can give us a mental break, reduce our need to compare to other people, and alleviate the stress with trying to be on social media. Because we can spend and waste so much of our time on social media that we're not caring for ourselves in the present. And that time and attention on social media can be better directed elsewhere. During the pandemic, this is what drove my anxiety through the roof, watching the news and being on social media. With nowhere to go and watching the news and social media as my only outlet, it drove me crazy seeing bad headlines after bad headlines. And it drove me down a spiral of being helpless to affect the situation I was in. But even lately, when things have settled down, comparing myself to other people on social media just isn't helpful in my life. Because nowadays, I just want to travel and have an easier life, and I don't want to compare myself with other people when I see their social media influences. When you're looking to decrease your own anxiety, try to limit the amount of things that are outside your sphere of influence. Because sometimes you cannot control those things, and worrying about controlling them can be futile. This means you can rein in your focus on only the things that you can control and affect in your day-to-day life. So reducing your social media exposure can help you to reduce anxiety and dread in life. Number 2, time management. Utilizing effective time management can greatly help reduce your anxiety in life. By organizing tasks, setting priorities, and having space for self-care, you put yourself in a great position to have more control within your life. By outlining what you need in a plan, you can construct your balanced lifestyle and can help you reduce overwhelming situations that you might encounter when you're not organized. When I organize my time, I take one less thing off of the anxiety-inducing plate that I have. Because when you're organized and can plan things out, you just know that you're going to get this done at the allocated time that you planned out. There are just fewer uncertain things that you have in life that you might need to deal with. It lets you claw back a little bit more certainty to help you to reduce your anxiety overall. Check out my previous video on time management for beginners. It helps you to outline in detail how to time manage and essentially help you to get more out of your busy day-to-day lifestyle. So having a plan for your day-to-day activities is a great way to help reduce stress and anxiety. Number 3, distractions. Engaging in healthy distractions can help you to alleviate anxiety, and if not, help manage that anxiety to a respectable level. Activities like hobbies, exercising, or spending time in nature can help you to mitigate the worst effects of anxiety. and help provide your mind a mental break that it probably needs. By incorporating these distractions in your day-to-day life, you can help manage the anxiety you currently have. You can plan out breaks in order to get peace and respite when you're having a tough and overwhelming day. I use a lot of distractions to help me manage my anxiety from day to day, playing video games, exercising, or spending time in nature. I use it when I need to force my brain to focus on something different for a while. Even if I have a packed day, I choose to spend at least some time in nature just to get away from it all and have a chance for my mind to reset. It's certainly not the perfect long-term strategy to cope with anxiety, but I do it to mitigate it on a day-to-day basis. I would start with the most relaxing hobby you can think of and work that into your routine, because then you'll be able to focus on something else rather than that anxiety. And crucially, use that time to separate yourself from what's causing your anxiety. So at least in the short term, distractions can be a great way to help you manage and cope with your anxiety. Number 4, sleeping and relaxing. To effectively manage and cope with anxiety, I sleep 7 to 9 hours each and every day, and I aim to get quality sleep during that time if possible. This is because restorative sleep can help reduce stress and anxious feelings. And in addition, incorporating relaxation techniques within your day-to-day routine can help you to calm yourself. And this can help further your anxiety management. At least for me, when I'm getting into that overwhelmed state, I choose to always try to take a nap if I can. This is because sometimes I just need my brain to sleep and relax and shut down for just a little bit. And that napping or sleeping can help me process what I just went through and help me get into that relaxed state where I can think clearly again. And also I relax by spending a lot of time in nature in my daily routine. I think we all don't get enough sleep in society. This is unfortunate because our brain needs to rest and process everything that's happened in our day. Look to see if there's more ways that you can get rest within your daily routine. And you'll have another way to help deal with the anxiety in your life. Check out my previous video on how to sleep better, in which I go into detail about how I use different hacks to help me get to sleep. So get that rest and relaxation when you need to help cope with your anxiety. And number 5, therapy. Seeking therapy is a powerful step in order for you to manage and cope with your anxieties. A qualified therapist can provide you a safe space and the freedom to express what's actually bothering you. They are trained to be non-judgmental and can help you go through whatever you need to get off your chest. And they can help you craft personalized coping mechanisms that work for you. Because navigating anxious thoughts by ourselves is just not helpful without a professional to guide us. And through therapy, you can help gain valuable insight on what's actually triggering your anxiety in the first place. And they can help you learn effective tools to combat it at the root cause, ultimately leading you to a less anxiety-filled life. Because a therapist is like a physical checkup with the doctor. They are assessing your mental health. Both physical and mental health are ultimately equally important to have a balanced lifestyle. Some of the most challenging times in my life would not have been successful had I not been guided by a therapist in my life. They helped me to manage the stress and anxiety in my life and what I was going through at that time, and provided me a professional opinion of what I was going through and how I could successfully manage it. Asking for help sure ain't easy, especially when it comes to our mental health. But we owe it to ourselves and others to help combat the anxiety and stress that are occurring in our lives, especially if we're nearing an overwhelm point that we can't manage it ourselves. By having a connection to a professional that knows what they're doing, they can help us much more than we would by ourselves. So seek professional help when you really want to nail down and cope with anxiety in your life. So here are my general thoughts on coping with anxiety. I think all of us need to understand that anxiety affects all of us. No one is immune to it. The first step is really to recognize that anxiety is affecting us and we might have to ask for help for it. The worst thing we can do is hide it, not tell anybody, and let it affect our personal lives for ourselves and other people around us. This just leads to more problems down the line and eventually worsening our anxiety. So try to identify those anxiety points that are driving factors in your life. And lastly, I do believe modern society is driving a lot of the anxiety-inducing issues in our lives. We are bombarded 24/7 with all the things that we have and all the things that are wrong in our lives. Things are happening at such a rapid pace and they all compete for our attention. But things don't necessarily need to be lightning speed at our fingertips all the time. We have to consciously take a step back from that world and try to carve out space just for ourselves. Whether that's taking more vacations, spending time away from social media, or just investing in a lot of self-care. keeping your brain away from all the noise in society will reduce your anxiety. So those are some of the ways that I cope with anxiety in my life. As our society has become more complex and busy, they all seek our attention all the time. We have to be more vigilant now more than ever to protect our brain from the onslaught of the outside noise. Because if we don't, we'll be stressed and overwhelmed with all the things that we think we need to do. Nobody is immune to the effects of anxiety, and it impacts all of us in different ways. We therefore need to be mindful about how we're feeling and how that affects us on a day-to-day basis. And if it becomes too much, we have to use tools to help us cope with that anxiety. Without those tools, we might have unchecked anxiety and it might spiral out of control. So I hope this video helps you identify some ways to help you through your anxieties from what I've done in the past. So thank you for watching. Please leave me a comment down below on how you deal with anxiety and does it work well for you or not. And I'll see you next time.